We are kicking things off with explosive geopolitical shifts right now. Marcos is sounding the alarm, suggesting the northern Philippines is set to be directly involved in a Taiwan conflict, and he says the geography makes it inevitable. He warns that even though Manila doesn't want war, if confrontation happens, the northern Philippines will definitely feel the effects. This is a massive warning about regional security that you need to hear. Mexico is completely overhauling its trade barriers, and Taiwanese manufacturers operating there are just starting to grasp the serious implications for their bottom line. Find out how these new tariffs are changing the game for businesses relying on the Mexican market. And finally, a major diplomatic snub. Taiwan is once again excluded from the World Health Assembly. A proposal by its allies to invite Taiwan as an observer was rejected, with China's representative Jia Guide firmly reiterating the One China principle. We examine why this exclusion keeps Taiwan out of the WHO and what the implications are for global health security. Stay with us for the full story. Marcos suggests the Philippines is likely to become involved in a Taiwan conflict due to its geographical position. Speaking to the South China Morning Post, Marcos stated that based on a map analysis, the northern Philippines is either destined to be part of the conflict or will inevitably suffer its effects. While emphasizing that Manila has no desire to engage in any war over Taiwan, he argued that geography dictates otherwise. Marcos asserted that if actual confrontation occurs, the northern islands will be directly involved or impacted. This sentiment echoes earlier statements made last year, where he declared that, although the Philippines wished to avoid war, it would not order its vessels to withdraw from contested areas, citing encounters with China near Scarborough Shoal. He reiterated that despite a strong wish to avoid any confrontation, a war over Taiwan would inevitably drag the Philippines into the conflict, a point he used to express his disagreement with Beijing's response. Taiwan has directly accused China of being the primary driver of regional instability, citing Beijing's escalating military activities across the Indo-Pacific. Taiwan Premier Yong-tai made these strong remarks as China's Navy announced the deployment of a carrier strike group led by the Liaoning aircraft carrier for military drills in the Western Pacific. Speaking in Taipei ahead of President Lai Ching-te's second anniversary in office, Cho asserted that China's expanding military exercises are heightening regional tensions. He stated that the People's Republic of China conducts military exercises of various scales and types in the Taiwan Strait, the Indo-Pacific region, the South China Sea, and near Japan, which directly affect navigational safety, calling this the greatest source of regional unease and instability. These comments followed the confirmation by the Chinese Navy that the Liaoning Carrier Task Group had entered the relevant waters of the Western Pacific for training exercises, which the Chinese military described as routine training aimed at improving combat capabilities and compliant with international law. This escalation comes amid ongoing pressure from Beijing on Taiwan, which has repeatedly rejected calls for dialogue from President Lai Ching-te, whom Beijing labels a separatist. Taiwan maintains its stance that the Republic of China, Taiwan's official name, is a sovereign and independent country. Despite the heightened military activity, Premier Cho expressed Taiwan's continued hope for dialogue, emphasizing a consistent principle of seeking healthy and orderly exchanges between the two sides of the Taiwan Strait, and for dialogue based on equality and dignity. Meanwhile, President Lai Ching-te is scheduled to hold a press conference on Wednesday to detail his administration's future policy. He is also navigating domestic political challenges, including opposition efforts to block defense spending proposals and a recent failed impeachment attempt in Parliament. Mexico is implementing significant overhauls to its trade barriers, creating new complexities for Taiwanese manufacturers with established operations in the country. Industry experts indicate that these changes are beginning to have tangible implications for the financial performance and bottom lines of these companies. The evolving trade landscape in Mexico signals a period of increased scrutiny and potential shifts in operational strategies for businesses reliant on the Mexican market. Taiwan's bid to gain observer status at the World Health Assembly has failed, confirming its exclusion from the assembly for the 10th consecutive year. The rejection followed a 2-on-2 debate where allies of Taiwan proposed inviting the country to participate. The debate featured statements from 2 allies in favor and 2 others, typically China and one of its allies, expressing opposition. Jia Guide, China's permanent representative to the UN in Geneva, firmly reiterated Beijing's position that the People's Republic of China, PRC, fully represents Taiwan. He cited UN General Assembly Resolution 2758 and WHA Resolution 25.1, arguing that the One China principle mandates this stance, noting that these resolutions recognize the PRC as the sole legitimate representative of China to the UN and the WHO, rather than the Republic of China, ROC, Taiwan. Pakistan's representative to the UN office in Geneva also backed Beijing's position, reaffirming support for the One China principle, which considers Taiwan part of the PRC. Countering this, Taiwan officials argued that exclusion is unjustified and harmful. Palau Vice President and Health Minister Reynold Oilauch stated that Taiwan's exclusion weakens global disease surveillance and collective preparedness. He contended that UN and WHO resolutions do not address Taiwan's health or authorize another government to represent it. Paraguayan Vice Minister of Public Health and Social Welfare, José Ordolado, echoed these concerns, asserting that Taiwan is a responsible partner in public health and should participate as an observer to ensure a truly inclusive global health system. He highlighted that excluding Taiwan leaves 23.5 million people outside the global health security system. Ultimately, Victor Elias Atala Lajam, the Dominican Republic's health minister and president of the 79th WHA, decided against including the supplementary agenda item, solidifying Taiwan's exclusion from the assembly. Taiwan has not attended the annual decision-making body of the WHO since 2016, when it participated as an observer during a period of warmer cross-strait relations. Since 1971, the ROC has not regained UN membership, complicating its participation in affiliated organizations like the WHO.